G'day guys, how you going? It's Iski here, and welcome to the second part of me trying to fix these Screen Technics motorized projection screens. For people who haven't seen the other video or videos, I'm not really sure how many there's going to be. I think this is going to be like a 3-part series of me trying to fix these. Well, I found two 150-inch Screen Technics screens at the dump. They were the 4:3 aspect ratio, which is the old school, which makes them incredibly long as well as very wide. And that's a good thing for what we're going to be doing today, because we are going to be cutting this particular one that's up there now. We're going to be cutting that up to so that it's more of the narrow 16:9 screen. And the reason we are doing that is, one, I was going to do it anyway. I was pretty sure I was going to do it anyway, because I've got two. The other one, that actually my screen that I've decided to keep, it's actually down here. You can see it down there against the wall on the carpet. That's the one I'm keeping, and I'm going to stick this up inside my roof. I'm actually building my cinema at the moment. You can actually see I'm going to have like a 180-inch fixed screen, acoustically transparent, but I thought I may as well keep one of these anyway. I don't know exactly why. I do watch a lot of old school TV shows, and I think it would be fun just to have stuff to mess around with like this in the future. But that's the reason. But hey, listen, I don't need two screens at the exact same ratio and size. But even though I will sell this second one anyway, but the thing is, people won't buy it if it's a 4:3 screen, right? So it needs to be more of a CinemaScope screen, unless I kind of try to sell it to somebody that owns a business and does, you know, projection and presentations and things like that. But I think I'd stand more of a chance in the home theatre kind of market. But there is another reason why I am cutting it up. I actually have to cut it up now, and that's because, well, this second one, we tried to install it upstairs on my deck last week, a friend of mine and myself, and we completely stuffed it. And what happened is we dropped this screen, and we dropped it while the actual screen was uncurled, and that was because now I have to tell you, don't I? The long story is we couldn't get it mounted correctly. I couldn't get my Allen key in there and screwed up. And in the end, I said, listen, mate, we're holding it okay. Let's just uncurl it while I've got the remote in my hand. As long as I can see it going down and coming up again, I can test it a couple of times and make sure it works. At least I know it's going to work, because as soon as I install my screen in there, I don't have the brackets anymore, and I won't be able to test it. So that's why. But the thing is, I used the remote, we were holding it, the screen went down, but it wouldn't go back up, and we were left holding this massive screen. And in the end, we dropped it. And I'll show you. Check this out. Let's find my remote here. If I actually bring this down, all right. We damaged the screen. In the corner here, there, that's the only damage that you can see. In fact, if I stop that about there, that is a lot of cuts, tears and so forth right in that corner. But the rest of the screen, luckily for me, is perfect. So that is perfect. So it's weird, isn't it? So I was thinking like I was going to do this anyway, to cut it up so I could sell this down the line. It would be a lot easier to sell if it was a 16:9 screen, or a CinemaScope 2.35:1 screen. But I think 16:9, if people want to turn it into a CinemaScope, at least they can. It's an easy process. I've sussed it out. I know exactly what to do, and that's what we're going to do in this video. Now, so the next video, I'll just give you a quick rundown, will be us trying to, fix why didn't that screen go up. It certainly went down okay. Well, what happened is when the screen hit the carpet and hit the floor and we lifted it up, I hit the remote anyway, the up, and it started curling, it started going up, it started rolling again. And I worked out that it was because there was no weight on the actual motor. This big heavy bar that weighs these things down, it wasn't actually present, so there was no weight, and it easily rolled it up. So that is telling me, the funny thing is I have done so many Google searches looking for people with the same kind of issue. I couldn't find anyone. A heap of people out there having, you know, retraction issues, but nothing like what I was experiencing. But so we're going to be pioneers and see if we can fix this on our own. And I'm pretty sure it's an easy fix. This, what we're experiencing, listen, watch this. I'll show you. I'll set you down here. I'll even show you. If I actually take the weight of this bar. Okay, so I'm holding it up. I'm going to hit the up button now. Let's see if it goes up. It's not going up, right? It's because it's got the weight of the actual screen fabric as well. It's that sensitive now. Now, if I actually take this, if I actually lift the side up, oh, why isn't it doing it? Oh, maybe, there we go. Now watch this when I let the bar go. It stops. If I hold it up again, let's see if it takes off. There you go, it's taking off. Let go, and it's going up slowly, slowly, it's struggling. So what do I think that is? What's doing that? Well, I see this all the time in a lot of other appliances that I fix. And if you have a look in a lot of my other videos of things that I find at the dump, say clothes dryers, air compressors, a lot of them have the exact same issue. You can actually hear the motor humming. It wants to do stuff, but it just can't do it. And that's because the main motor start capacitor is stuffed. Now this here is what a start capacitor looks like. This is out of a dryer, and you can see there that one's exploded and it will hum. Listen, that's not a very good example because the capacitor on this thing here is very, very small, really small. It's probably about that big. I'm pretty sure it would be one of those red flat kind of capacitors that I see on, you see them in, you know, amplifiers and TVs and things like, more of an electrical kind of thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. So that wasn't a good example, but they do die, and they die because of two things. They can be spiked with power, and they die just from being used a lot. So I think whoever dumped these two screens just flogged them and used them a lot. So when you replace the capacitor, it turns into like a new thing. You may as well have just bought it. So that's what I'm going to do. I think it's a capacitor, and that's going to be in the next video. But for now, we are actually going to try and fix this screen. I'm going to use this shelf here as a table as well. I'm going to see if I can pull that out, so I have to find something to prop it up. But for now, let's just get started. All right, I'm just going to wind it as far, well, not as far down, so it's just, you know, just off the carpet. Oh, just so I can see some of the black up the top there. All right. So I want to just do a final measurement of this, make sure I'm doing it correctly. So if I find myself a tape measure. Okay, so we got 3040, which I have actually read their PDF on their, you know, when they make these screens, they actually say that they do put an extra 5mm or something like that on here, or up to, there's a tolerance, I guess I should say. But so what I'm going to do is actually, I need some paper. Sorry, I'm just looking for paper. All right, so I'm just going to use this. So 3040. I mean, I've already done this, but just for this video, In fact, I'm not going to use this tape measure to measure the vertical. I'm going to grab a dress tape measure because they're flexible. All right, so we've got here a 3 meter long dress measure. So if I start this, $229, so 22.90. High. Okay, so I've worked out, so we have 3040 mil, which is 3 meters 40, and vertical is 2290. So what I'm going to do is just go to Projector Central's calculator for their screen throw distance calculator. I'm actually just going to pull up 16 by 9 screen and type in the width, which is 3040, and see what I get for the height, and then I'll just subtract that from here. I know it's I know it's 138, but I'll just double check it. But one thing I didn't really take note of was the actual measurement of the 16:9 screen, that 138-inch screen. So I'm going to find out exactly how high it has to be, mark it on here, as well as giving it a bit of extra. I might actually take this bar off now. And yeah, anyway, I'll be back in a sec. Hey, listen, I thought I might bring you guys in here and just show you exactly how I get my dimensions for my screens. So I basically go to the Projector Central website. I pull up their throw distance calculator, and before using that, you do have to select a model of projector, and you have to do that because you want to get access to all of these sliders and so forth to tweak this projection screen image. But so yeah, I've just thrown in the Epson 6050 UB, and that's because that's probably the projector I'll end up getting when my build's done. But now sometimes your units here might be set to inches. If you want to actually change it to centimeters or vice versa, you just go up to this units, go down to this image size, and if you want to go to inches, hit inches and OK. But I was OK in the first time. I like centimeters. Metrics the best. All right, so what did I say our horizontal measurement was? 3040, which is 304 centimeters. So what I want to do now is actually come up here to this slider and slide this so that that measurement here reads 304. So I'll just bring that down. There we go, 304. And now all I'm going to be looking at is this side measurement, which is 171. So that is the that's the dimensions of our new screen, basically 304 by 171. We still have to put on the black border for the bottom, as well as some allowance to go into that metal bar, but we'll do that later. But it's that easy, it's that easy. You also take into account when you're doing this, you've got your aspect ratio up there, so you can actually select what aspect ratio you want. I want 16:9, but inside there you can change it to 2.35 to 1 or 2.40 to 1 or 4:3 to 1, whatever. But that's what you have to, so make sure you do that first. Okay, so that's where your aspect ratio is, and that's how you kind of basically get your dimensions. Okay, so let's have a look at this. We want to pull this cap off. So it's just a bit of plastic at the end, so let's pull that off, and look at that. See, there's a bit of timber there. This has actually just already started sliding out, so what we want to do is just kind of keep going with that. Wow, simple, eh? So I will slide this all the way off. I've got some obstacles in my way down at the other end, but I'll quickly pull this off. Actually, I'll set you up and you can have a look. I actually don't know if I've got enough room at the other end to slide this off, but we'll soon find out. Really heavy, this bar. I'm running out of room at that end. It's going to hit some TVs, so I might have to angle this up slightly. Oh, let's have a look. Have we got any creases? Slight crease. That's okay. Oh no, that'll come out. Awesome. Finally got that undone. Alright, so this is what is inside that black bar. It's just two pieces of timber beading, basically. And they're basically just stapled at the ends. The canvas here is fed through both of them and then stapled back onto the back piece. And that's easy, very easy. What we have to do now is actually unstaple all of that because we want to reuse this timber. So we will get ourselves a staple remover or a flat blade screwdriver and just undo those things and pull them out with pliers. We will make our 171 centimetre measurement from the top there down to wherever it is, and then we will add this allowance, which is this border, well, basically from here to here. We'll measure that and add that, if that makes sense. But it's pretty simple, you can see. You can actually see here, can you see that? It's actually been masked. So this looks like it's been painted with a spray can or something like that. But yeah, you can actually see where they've masked that. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're just going to go out and get a cheap black satin spray. I'm not going to use gloss, that's too shiny. And matte, I think, is going to be too matte. So we'll get some satin and see how we go with that. We'll mask it up with maybe some, I don't know, painter's sheet or something like that, and make sure there's no overspray. But let's do that, and let's do that now. Alright, okay, so I've got basically a myriad of tools to use. We've got a classic stapler remover. Let's see if that does anything. I don't think it will, because these are for paper basically. No, let's get rid of that. I might just try using a flat blade. Come on, man. There we go, we've got the first one pointed up. Rather than actually, I was just going to pull, you're not even seeing it. Yeah, rather than just pull this out like with a pair of pliers now, I think I'm just going to do that to all of them, otherwise I will work it out as we go, but that took a long time. Actually stick that there. Okay. Well, okay. There we go. So I found an easier way to do it, and that is if you actually get your screwdriver and you put it between the timber and the stapler and kind of wedge it in there like that, and then wedge it up. So much quicker. That is, if the staple is really flush and hard up against it. Sometimes you get staples with a bit of a bow in them, and you can get your screwdriver in there and actually just pull it out, wedge it up. But this is easy. You can actually just do that. It doesn't matter if you put holes in any of this because we're cutting it off, remember? There we go, free. Just find my tape measure. I'll quickly measure that. 80 mil. So we have to measure up from the top there. Where are we? We have to measure from that top down 171 and then add another 8, so 179. Make the cut, put it back together and spray it. All right, what do you think? Is it going to reach? Yeah, it's not going to reach. You're kidding. I have to flip them around. I mean, that's good enough, I think. That. I think that's going to do us. We can fill the gaps in manually later. That's good enough. Alright, so I'm going to set you back here. I'm going to drop this screen and see if we can get it to kind of fold out onto that kind of dodgy table. All right, I'm going to start bringing this down. All right. You know, I've been trying to think of what I can use as a straight edge. I think I might have something that is actually this long, but I could probably just use the bar. But this isn't as great as I was hoping it would be, to be honest with you. I think it'll work. Listen, I'm just going to go and measure this straight edge that I got outside, see how long it is. It's 3 meters. I don't think it's long enough. Well, it's close. Gee, it's freaking close. It might be. Oh, yeah, it's long enough. It's basically short by maybe 20 mil, 30 mil. But that's enough. I think that's as good as I'm going to get it, you know. So I'm just going to give it a mark with this. I can always tweak it later, I guess. But yeah, I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. All right, that's messing around trying to get this perfect is pretty difficult when you got like a wavy table. That's as good as I'm going to get it. I'm pretty sure this is going to be pretty spot on anyway. You know what I might do is actually add an extra 5mm when I'm cutting this, because that's what they do apparently. They add on an extra, you know, tiny little piece. But what I might do is actually try to roll this up again. Just make it a bit easier for us. Ah, look, it's going up first time. Alright, so let's have a look at this. Man, you've got to be really, really careful with these screens. There must be just a really thin layer of shit. I've actually... I mean, just putting that ruler that was there, just setting up on there. Like, look at that. There's a little fleck there. Luckily, it's what we're cutting off. But yeah, that wasn't even on there very much. It wasn't very heavy. And but it's okay. I'm cutting that. But check that out. So that's our line. Before I cut that, I am going to actually just measure it from this line down to the base and make sure everything's looking good. I'll probably, like I said, add an extra 5mm to this screen. That's what they seem to do when they leave the factory, add an extra 5. Some of them say like a centimetre, which I guess is okay. But yeah, I might just quickly measure that and see if that's okay. Alright, I don't think I'm going to get it any better than this. 577. Alright, so that's excellent. So I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm thinking I might do now is actually roll it out again so that it's on this flat table, and then cut it. I'm just going to eyeball the I am going to make it longer by 5mm. That's okay. That seems to be the done thing with screen manufacture. And I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm not going to try and do another line underneath that existing line. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm pretty good with this. I've been sewing for many years. So I'm not bad with the scissors. So let me just drop this down. Okay, so let's get this cut. It's getting late, it's Sunday night, and I want to make a curry. So, let us go 5mm below. Awesome. Excellent. Looks pretty straight to me. Excellent. This somewhere. Good morning, guys. So it's the next day. I thought we would start off by maybe just, I've got a couple of spray cans here of, well, I've actually got one. That one there is flat black. That one there is satin black. That one's virtually empty, but I am going to the hardware now, so I thought I would see which one, if this satin looks good, I will actually buy some of that. But actually looking at this here outside, it's actually looking a bit more flat than actually satin. So what I thought I'd do is, this is the offcut obviously from what we just cut off our screen, so I'm just gonna, you know, give it a bit of a spray and just have a look and see what it looks like. So I'll set you up. Where should I do? I don't want to get paint on this lens or camera, so I'll just set you back here on the deck. It's a bit breezy today. We'll start with this flat black. Wow. All right. All right. I am going to get that another coat. Let's see how much of this is left. They do dry quite quickly, these paints, so yeah, they're a bit wet, so we can't really tell. But honestly, I actually think, so that's the satin there. I reckon the flat is probably going to be better, but we'll wait until it's dry and we'll hit it again. You don't want to give it too many coats. You just, it's like a roof when you're painting your roof, you know, a tiled roof. Oh no, sorry, a tin roof. You only really want to give it one coat, a good coat, and otherwise the more layers you put on, the easier it is for this stuff to peel off. But listen, I'll give this a few minutes and we'll get back and check it out and do it again. Okay, so we're back in the room. So what I think I'm going to do is actually just remeasure. I'll just set you guys here for a second. Just there. I think I am just going to just double check my measurements. Make sure they're all good. $179.4. $179.4. How good is that? It can't be right. I have to double check that. Spot on. Okay, so where am I going to set you guys? I might actually just bring you over here. What I've also done is, with this shelf that's behind here, listen, I'm going to raise this if I can find the remote control. Always losing this thing. Alright, here we go. Just going to raise this up a little bit. Maybe there. And what I've done is I've actually extended these shelves out a little bit, so that yeah, I don't need to have the chairs there. I've actually put some batten screws in behind and just made them so that they can sit out a bit. Alright, so I need to mark a line now along here that is, what did I say? It was 80 mil. Okay, so I need a straight edge. Alright, looking good, so I'm just going to remove that. Got a nice line there now. Okay, you see there we got a line. That line that's right down here, that was it's more like 4 mil. I added an extra 4 mil to the end of this, remember? But so that is where we want to paint, from that line downwards. So I am going to mask that up. I bought some special masking tape to do this, painter's tape. Man, it's so expensive. Can't believe it. Well, I guess it wasn't that expensive compared to some of them that were there. Alright, so I am just going to start masking this. Hopefully there's no actual coating on this screen that will peel up like this black border peels up. Man, that actually, in fact, oh, there's a little bit of red tape still here. I'm just going to peel that off. See if I'm really gentle. No, nothing came up that time, but before, the whole piece of tape brought up a big batch of black, but it's all good. It was on the piece that we cut off. Alright, I think it's plastic time. See, we got some masking there. We'll stick some plastic on that masking. See if we can, we'll definitely be raising the screen a little bit so that it's straight up and down on vertical when we spray this. But for now, I think I'm going to have to get my plastic sheeting that I just bought at the hardware. This stuff, hallway and small room drop sheet, as well as projector screens. Awesome. Okay, so there is one that is 3 meters by 1.2 meters. I reckon that's one we should use, and there's one that's smaller. Don't know which way, you have to work out which one's which. Oh man, I'm assuming that's the bigger one. It feels slightly heavier. Expensive stuff as well. I think this cost maybe, was it like $16 or something? Now, I'm pretty sure that looks like it's about 3 meters. Let's actually which means it's going to be slightly short for this screen by what, 4 centimeters. That's okay. Okay, so this can't be 3 meters. So this is a small one. Excellent. I didn't want to open that right now. Alright, so that looks better. That looks more like it. I am just going to start putting this down, I think. Oh, it's slightly bigger. Excellent. Thank you for adding extra. That's going to come in handy. That actually reaches all the way to the end, just short of the edge of the screen, but it covers the whole white part, so that's awesome. Awesome. You see what I'm trying to do here? Now that we've kind of masked it like that, I should be able to lower this down now. Let's have a look what happens. Let's go down a bit more. Looks good to me. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start putting some of this tape on this black edging, hoping that it's not going to peel up like that electrical tape brought it up. I don't think it will. That electrical tape must have been pretty sticky. I'll just lightly push this down like that. I'll probably go a little bit higher as well. But when I take it off, I'll be extremely careful. I mean, if any stuff did come up, you can just get a bit of, get yourself a felt pen and that'll be fine. Oh, now I have to peel it back. Oh, that's okay. It didn't peel it back. In fact, I am going to do the whole edge because I don't want any, overspray to hit that black as well, because it isn't exactly the same. It's not far off it though. That'll do. So that'll do for the masking of the screen. I do need to kind of throw some plastic on the ground. I mean, this carpet isn't overly important to me because I'm currently doing a home cinema build, and this carpet will eventually go when I put some new. It's almost new. I might actually relocate this on my deck. There's a section of my deck that I want to have carpeted. This would fit nicely, so I'll do my best to kind of protect it. I don't care about this shelving here. Right, I'm just going to give it a light dusting coat first. Alright, give that a few minutes. Make sure that you put this, if you're going to do this, make sure you do what I do and actually take the plastic all the way to the top, because I have overspray that is easily halfway up this screen, as you see it. It's crazy. Give it a few minutes. I'll hit it again. I'll probably give that one a good 15-20 minutes. This stuff is supposed to dry within 10 minutes or so, but I'll give it a while. I don't want this getting too saturated and too wet when I do it. You can actually see it's actually kind of wrinkling the bottom end, and that, you kind of expect that to happen, but it's all good. Like the bar will actually pull anything out, but once it's dry it'll be okay. But yeah, I'm going to give that a few minutes. I might actually have some fruit and nut for lunch. Do that now. Just before I take a break, give you a quick look. So I think we're going to be looking at 2 or 3 coats more, I reckon. I know I said out in the yard that I didn't want to do more than a couple of coats, but I think you have to. I think you have to, especially when you're going black over white. It does show through. Like, but having said that, I can't imagine, you know, there's going to be a problem. It won't peel off the thicker it gets. Well, it probably would, but we're not going to have a problem, not with a screen like this, especially the bottom end. In fact, it's virtually dry now, but I'll give it another 10 minutes. Alright, so here we go. I think I've actually hit this maybe 3 to 4 times. I can't remember now. It looks good. I mean, I could finish it here and I'd be quite happy, but I think I'm just going to hit it one more time, go over one more time, and see how it looks. I know it isn't as, just doesn't look as black as the sides, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. So let me just set you back here, and I'll give it another pass. And then we will actually put this thing back together. The best part is we have no runs. Okay, that's enough. So I'm going to let that dry. It's not going to take long. We'll give it 20 minutes. And I am going to pull that masking off. I wonder if we can reuse the masking. Be lucky if we could do that. Oh, in fact, this tape doesn't seem to be tearing it. I think I could probably reuse this masking, so that's good. But yeah, let me do that afterwards. There we go. You know what? That last sweep that I did with the can, I think that made a whole lot of difference. Seriously, it's crazy, but I think that's actually darker than it was before. But it's not going to get any darker than that. So what I'm going to do now, it's probably, I don't know, 20 minutes just over since I did the last sweep. So it's definitely touch dry. So I am going to start removing this masking, and then finally I will pull the masking off the bottom, the first piece that we put on. That's the scary part, because I don't want any paint to come up with it. So hopefully that won't happen. I don't think it will, but you never know. But I'm just going to set you here. In fact, no, I'll put you here, and I'm just going to go to town and see if I can pull this, drop sheet off without breaking it, because it'd be nice to reuse this. I do have other plans. Alright, let's see if we can do this without taking any of this black border on this side off. Go nice and slowly. I feel like it wants to come up. Ooh. So far so good. In fact, I'll bring you along for the ride. Oh, that bit there was already like that. Ah, that was good. Let's see if we can do this one up here now. Oh, what was that? Yep, no, perfect. Okay, I'll just set you back here. Oh, hang on a second. I have to get up the top, don't I, and undo that that masking. Sorry, the masking tape from the top of the canister up there. Forgot all about that. But first of all, I might actually just try and do this one first. Well, it looks like I'm going to be able to save this sheet. That's good. That paint's flaking off it. And onto my white screen behind it. Alright, that's all good. Now, get up here. You know what? This isn't too bad. I'm actually happy. I'm pretty happy. That's not bad at all. Honestly, there's no way anyone would be able to tell. Well, at least they won't look at it and go, hey, I think this has been resprayed. If anything, they might just think that they used two different, you know, paints out of a different tin at the factory. But okay, we still have to take this bottom masking off. That's the scary one, actually. One more. There we go, and we can reuse this. Excellent. Okay, I'll show you this, where we're at. Right, there you go. It, when you look at it through the camera, it actually can see a bit of difference, but it's not bad. I can totally accept that. That's fine. It's definitely not as matte as the side, which is really strange. But now we have to undo this piece of masking tape. That's the scary part. Listen, I'll grab you. Where am I going to put you? Let me set you up here. Hang on. Set you up there, I guess. But first of all, I'm just going to see if I can blow these little black flecks off. Yep, all gone. Almost. Oh, looking good. Okay, I am going to start peeling this bottom one off now. Hopefully the paint won't come up with it. Right, here we go. Oh, very nice so far. Ah, looking good. Look at that. So far so good. I can actually hold it on the bottom. Remember, that's actually going in that bottom bar. Oh man, this is turning out great. I just go nice and slowly. So far, not one little piece of paint has peeled up with this. Touch wood. And it looks dead straight as well. Oh, what happened there? Alright, we found our first little spot of disaster. It's not a disaster. It's okay. I think the tape wasn't pushed down hard at that certain point, but I'll show you that. But we can touch that up. Wow. There we go. All right, what do you think? Just looking at it from here. I'll show you what I was talking about from that spot of disaster, but that looks pretty good, I think. Where is it? Just here. It's like a little, must have been lifted up just slightly. It's only a tiniest, like size of a, you know, tiniest little, it's not even as wide as a fingernail. But I'll go through there and I'll find something that's white and will, or a similar colour. Maybe I won't even bother with it. And I could also, you know, touch that up if I want. I don't think I will though. If you stand back here, you don't really see that. Oh, only just slightly. But guys, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to let this dry for a little while longer. And then I'm going to lower it down and we're going to put that timber back on, staple that back up and stuff that rod back in and call it quits, I think. But yeah, we'll have to do something about that little bit there. You know, that you can tell that there was actually where there was no table underneath to support it. So yeah, should have been a bit more careful with that. I should have just double checked it, but that's all right. I mean, you can't really see it when you're standing back here. If anything, it could easily be, you know, classed as a manufacturing fault. But I like it. I think if you stand here, honestly, it looks exactly the same. The black looks exactly the same as the black on the sides. The paint looks exactly the same. It's only when you get up really close and inspect it. And how often are you going to do that? And why would you do that? See, if you come up that close, it looks slightly different. But when you stand back, probably even just 1.5 meters, you can't. It just looks black like the side. So very happy, very happy. So that's excellent. I'm just going to uncurl this a little bit if I can find the remote again. Nope, I can't remember where I put it. But yeah, so pretty stoked. Let me just, oh, here it is. Check this out. I'm pretty happy. I came and grabbed that piece that I was spraying this morning, and I got a Q-tip with a bit of terps on the end, and it actually, you can see here, it actually wiped it away, and it wiped it on the side. So I came up and I gave it a shot up here, and basically that's where it was. So I could probably get it a little bit better than that. I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't want to, you know, I'm happy with that. That's awesome. Like hell, that you wouldn't even know that that's there unless you went looking for it. So look at that there. So I am very happy now. I am very, very happy. So did you see it or did you miss it? So yeah, no blemishes anymore. Maybe the slightest one, but I am so happy with that. So I just found some staples. Fortunately, they're like 8mm staples, so I think it's going to go through the first layer of that timber, but that's okay if it goes through into the other side. But so that's what we'll use. I'll set up now and we'll put that piece of timber on. But oh, I just had to show you that. I'm pretty happy. That's it there. It looked a lot worse before. I might, should I try and tickle it up a bit more? No, I think I'll leave it. Happy with that. Having said that, you know I will. You know I will. Get another Q-tip. In fact, that one that I just used, I might just use, I put water on the other side, so I'll just get that bit of water. No, I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it. I mean, if you actually have a look at other parts of the screen, like on here, there's worse parts on the rest of the screen. So that's nothing compared to some of the other tiniest little blemishes on the rest of the screen. I mean, the screen itself doesn't have any marks, but on the side here, you saw over there, it's got a bit of black missing. I mean, you can touch that up with a black pen, felt pen, but I'm happy with that. All right, let's lift our piece of timber up here. I think we're dry enough. Let me just set you here. Where are you? About there? Can you see? Cool. All right, I'm going to drop the screen a little bit. A little bit more than that. Maybe a touch more. Like there. All right. Got our stapler. Just set that there. Some staples. In fact, let me just make sure that the staples in here now aren't the 10mm ones, because I do have some 10mm. And actually there are no staples in here. Oh no, there are. And they look like 10mm. Glad I checked. But 8mm, we'll see. It's actually the same width as the legs. It may not actually go into the second piece of timber. Let me just take this outside and do a test. Excellent. All right, so listen guys, I'll tell you one thing that is going to be different. I am going to be doing differently, and that is when I put this through here, Normally on the other, you know, originally this here was bent backwards underneath this, and it was stapled on the back, so that's basically how it was. It came through here and it was stapled on the back. Well, the only way I can do that is if I am behind the screen, right? And I'm not going to all that trouble, so I am going to staple it to the front, which doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. So I am just going to start. At least I'm going to kind of put this in here now. Tell you what, I'm so happy I've got this table, this ledge to work on. And I'm happy that that screen came good. I mean the paint. Come on, get in there. Okay. It's looking good. Let me show you what we got. We have that coming through, so now all I have to do is actually fold that over there and staple it down. I can't do that with you in my hands, so I am just going to pop you here and start doing it. Staple didn't even go in. That's better. Perfect. And it didn't go all the way through, which is actually quite cool. That's good. I think it's important that these staples only go through this one side of this timber rather than both of them. And that's because once the bar is on there and it takes the weight, if there were any imperfections where it was slightly, you know, differs, you know, as far as levelness and is concerned, if if it goes through both sides, it might actually put kinks and ripples in the fabric. So this way it's actually allowing it to, it's hard to explain. So I'm just going to stop here because I'm going to stuffing it up. But I'm pretty sure it won't make any difference that I am stapling it to the front rather than the back. No, I think it's actually the timber. There must be certain spots along this bead that are just softer than others maybe. But I'm just going to go over this one more time where there were some staples that just didn't go through all the way, and I'll give you a look. Let me just have a look here first. Yeah, that's still separate. All right. No, I think that's it. I think that'll do it. If I recall, they did have like a couple extra on the ends. So we will too. All right, I think I'm going to call it. I think that's more than enough. Stuff it, just put more in. This is like 3 times the amount of staples that they used. Hopefully no one will want to do this again. All right, there we go. Calling it, that's enough. There you go. So we got a bunch of staples in our piece of beading. Got a few extra on the ends. And that back beading is separate because I do think it will make a difference I do think that back beading needs to be separate. Otherwise you might get ripples and, you know, kind of pulling in the fabric itself. So now, how am I going to do this on my own? This is a $1 million question. How am I going to feed this heavy metal bar through this? Let's actually just hang this over the side like that. Let's try this. Let's take it down as far as it'll go, which is that much. All right. Now I'll show you what I'm thinking. If I put this here, where's our bar? I'll just go and grab the bar. All right, so we've got our metal bar. I'm thinking that maybe if I just feed it through this ladder here, I might be able to. In fact, I will throw a t-shirt or a rag or something between that because I don't want to damage this, you know, this step ladder thing. I actually found it at the dump, but I love it. I think it's like library stairs or bookshelf stairs, bookcase stairs or something. Now, is this going to work? Let's see. Can I just feed that through? Please just frickin' work. I need something to prop up that back end. It might work. Yes! Look at that! I think it's working. But we have to kind of keep it twisted towards us, otherwise it's going to scratch the paint off as it goes in. That's the only problem. It's come off the end box. Come on, buddy, you can do it. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Now, what I'm going to do is just raise this screen up a bit. Actually, I'm not going to have to take the weight because it won't do it with the bar on there. Oh, it's still going. All right. Looking good. I'm just going to kind of put that end cap back on now and show you something. All right, so we got it on, but if you have a close look, it looks like there's certain little parts of the bottom edge that are thicker than others, and that's because it's still curled underneath this bottom inside this bar. So what I just noticed before when I was feeding it through, I did kind of hold the bar and push on those pieces like here, and it did pull out like just then. And what I think you'll find is just the weight of the bar over a little bit of time will actually eventually pull everything flat. Guys, that looks great. Let me just roll it this way a little bit. Ah, that's excellent. So I'm happy with that. Can't see that blemish anymore. There's a couple of tiny little micro scratches in the paint after doing all of that. It wouldn't have mattered if I had waited till it was, you know, a day dry or something. It would have still happened. But that's okay. I'll show you now. You can just go over those tiny little spots with a black texture, I reckon. But what do you think? There we go. I actually touched up this bar outside. It had a spot where the paint had come off. It had a tiny scratch in it. Fixed that up with the spray can. That happened from when it fell. But it's excellent. I'm very happy. I mean, seriously, you wouldn't even... It looks like it's done in the factory. Like, oh, that's excellent. So, success. Another success story. So, look at that. We have successfully... Let me grab the remote. Let's walk back a little bit. And let's wind this sucker out to 16.9. It's going to hit that shelf. Hang on, let's do the grand reveal in a bit. Let me just push these shelves in. Okay, let's take the screen down. There we go. We now have a 137-inch 16:9 screen. Don't worry about that dark spot there. It's just the shadow of this thing. That's excellent. I'm really happy. Really, really happy. There's no blemishes. There's no ripples. There's no pulling. It looks exactly like it was made like that. So there you go, guys. So if you are interested in cutting down your projector screen to another aspect ratio, well, there you go. There's a bit of guidance. I know all screens are probably made differently, but hopefully that can help somebody or give somebody some inspiration. I'm sorry about all this dodgy footage. I'm not really that great, even now at, you know, setting up cameras and so forth. But anyway, I tried. So yeah, there you go. I successfully saved this screen. So next part, we will be looking at the motor up here and hopefully replacing the main capacitor for the motor. I'm going to send Screen Technics an email tonight just to, just ask them what kind of motor it is and if that's what the problem is, which I'm like pretty sure. I'd be very disappointed if they just said, no, you'll have to buy a whole new motor. I'll let you know. But there you go. There you go. And best of all, we don't have any big holes or cuts or scratches in the screen. Yeah, it looks like a new screen. All right, thanks guys. Catch you later.